You mentioned Canada. I think you're trying to find a divide between us that doesn't exist. We're the closest of nations, and we had very good discussions today, but we didn't
That's
discuss
enough.
Canada.
Thank you. Please.
President Trump, Andrew and Tristan Tate landed in Florida today on a private jet after being released from custody in Romania. They are accused rapists, human traffickers, not thought of as good people in many circles. Did your administration pressure the Romanian government to release them, and if so, why?
I know nothing about that.
Mr. President, did our Prime Minister persuade you not to put tariffs on the UK? And if I may, Prime Minister, do you think that Vladimir Putin is a man who will keep his word? Thanks.
He tried. He was working hard, I'll tell you that. He earned whatever the hell they pay him over there.
Do you still think that Mr. Zelensky is a dictator?
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
British troops are in Ukraine keeping the peace and get attacked by Russia. Will you come to their aid?
If the British people are in Ukraine and they get attacked,
If British soldiers are in Ukraine.
you know, I've always found about the British, they don't need much help. They can take care of themselves very well. You know what? No, it sounds like it's evasive, but it's not evasive. You know, the British have been incredible soldiers, incredible military, and they can take care of themselves. But if they need help, I'll always be with the British, okay? I'll always be with them. But they don't need help. You look at their career, you have done very well over the years, haven't you?
We have. I'm very proud of our country. And but we've also always been there backing each other up between our two countries. That is why this is the greatest alliance for prosperity and security I think the world has ever seen. Whenever necessary, we've absolutely backed each other up, and that's at the
Could you
core
take
of
on Russia by yourselves?
Well,
A historic meeting between UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and US President Donald Trump, two leaders from opposite ends of the political spectrum standing side by side at the White House. For some, it's a chance to reaffirm the special relationship between the US and the UK. For others, it's a high-stakes test of diplomacy, where ideological differences, trade tensions, and global security concerns could either bring the two nations closer together or expose deep fractures in their alliance. So, what really happened behind the cameras? What deals were made, and what tensions bubbled beneath the surface? Let's break down the key moments from this pivotal meeting.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Starmer in the Oval Office. It's a very special place, and he's a special man. The United Kingdom is a wonderful country that I know very well. I'm there a lot, and I'll be going there, and we expect to see each other in the near future. We'll be announcing it, but we're going to be discussing many things today. We'll be discussing Russia-Ukraine. We'll be discussing trade and lots of other items. And I think we can say that we're going to be getting along on every one of them.
For UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, this visit is more than just a formality. It's a crucial test. As the UK navigates post-Brexit trade realities and Trump pushes his America First agenda, the stakes couldn't be higher.
and it is my pleasure to bring from His Majesty the King a letter. He sends his best wishes and his regards, of course, but he also asked me to bear this letter and bring it to you. So can I present the letter from the King to you?
Thank you very much. Am I supposed to read it right now?
Yeah, please do.
I will do.
I've got to tell him what your reaction is, so I need to know. I need to know.
He is a great gentleman.
The UK and US have long shared what's often called a special relationship, a term coined by Winston Churchill in 1946 to describe the deep diplomatic, military, and economic ties between the two nations. From standing shoulder to shoulder in World War II to collaborating on intelligence through the Five Eyes alliance, the bond has been strong. However, tensions have surfaced over the years. The Iraq War in 2003 tested public support for US-UK cooperation. Brexit complicated trade negotiations as Washington and London struggled to agree on a free trade deal. More recently, Trump's unpredictable approach to international relations, including his use of tariffs and criticism of NATO allies, has left British leaders walking a fine line between cooperation and confrontation. So while Starmer and Trump exchanged pleasantries in front of the cameras behind closed doors, the meeting carried far more weight, one that could shape the future of this long-standing alliance.
For the Prime Minister, this peacekeeping deal has been pushed forward by the UK and France as well. Have you been in discussions with any other European countries to join this initiative?
Prime Minister.
Yeah, on the question of the European countries, yes, I've spoken to a number of countries, particularly in the last few weeks. We had a meeting in Paris last week. I've got a meeting on Sunday with 18 countries to further our discussions. Obviously, we've been talking quite intensely to our French colleagues and to NATO, but to other countries as well, because, as I say, I think it's important for European countries, including the United Kingdom, to step up and do more in the defence and security of Europe and our continent and the United Kingdom, and will do so.
One of the biggest concerns? Ukraine. Starmer reaffirmed the UK's commitment to supporting Ukraine, going as far as saying he'd be open to sending British troops, but Trump had other ideas.
Mr. President, do you support Article 5 of the NATO treaty? And are you concerned that it might be triggered if European peacekeeping forces end up in Ukraine?
I support it. I don't think we're going to have any reason for it. I think we're going to have a very successful peace, and I think it's going to be a long-lasting peace.
Trump still isn't making any firm security guarantees, leaving Europe in a state of uncertainty. While he touts an economic agreement, the real question remains: will the U.S. continue to stand behind Ukraine militarily? With Russia still a looming threat and NATO allies increasingly concerned about Trump's isolationist tendencies, his vague answer does little to reassure European leaders. A minerals deal may boost business, but it does nothing to deter Putin's ambitions. And for countries on the front line, that's the real issue. And of course, no Trump press conference is complete without a moment of tension, this time directed not just at the press, but at Starmer himself.
You mentioned Canada. I think you're trying to find a divide between us that doesn't exist. We're the closest of nations, and we had very good discussions today, but we didn't
That's
discuss
enough.
Canada.
Thank you. Please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes. Thank you.
A familiar sight, one that brings back memories of Trump's past clashes with the press, from shutting down reporters in the White House briefing room to having CNN's Jim Acosta briefly banned. But beyond the theatrics, this moment underscores a deeper reality. Trump's unpredictability remains a challenge for allies.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation? Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his butt.
Well, I'm not
like
a big
the rest
fan
of
of
us.
yours either, so
I understand.
to be honest.
So let me ask you a question if I can. You repeatedly said...
You aren't the best.
Mr. President, you repeatedly, over the course of the...
Okay, just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Mr. President, over the course of the last several days of the campaign, sir.
For decades, the US-UK economic relationship has been built on stability, trust, and mutual benefit. Even through turbulent times, whether it was the Suez Crisis, disagreements over the Iraq War, or post-Brexit trade negotiations, both nations found ways to maintain their special relationship. But Trump's volatile approach to diplomacy adds a new layer of uncertainty. One day, he calls the UK a great partner. The next, he's threatening tariffs on British steel and aluminum. For Prime Minister Keir Starmer, this wasn't just a moment of awkwardness at a press conference, it was a warning. The UK might be America's oldest ally, but under Trump, no relationship is truly off limits from the transactional nature of his America First agenda. But one of the most crucial moments of the meeting? Trade. For years, the UK has pursued a post-Brexit trade deal with the US, but negotiations have stalled. Now, with Trump back in power, is a deal finally within reach?
Mr. President, did our Prime Minister persuade you not to put tariffs on the UK? And if I may, Prime Minister, Do you think that Vladimir Putin is a man who will keep his word? Thanks.
He tried. He was working hard, I'll tell you that. He earned whatever the hell they pay him over there. But he tried. I think there's a very good chance that in the case of these two great friendly countries, I think we could very well end up with a real trade deal where the tariffs wouldn't be necessary.
A major shift? Maybe. But Trump's history of trade threats still looms large.
We'll also work together to deliver some big economic wins that can benefit us both. We have a $1.5 trillion invested in each other's economies, creating over 2.5 million jobs across both economies. Our trading relationship is not just strong, it's fair, balanced, and reciprocal.
The UK is playing it safe. No promises yet, but Starmer is making it clear he wants to avoid an economic war with the US. For decades, British leaders have approached US trade negotiations with caution, aware that the special relationship doesn't always mean special treatment. From Margaret Thatcher's close ties with Ronald Reagan to Tony Blair's alignment with George W. Bush, UK prime ministers have often sought to maintain favor in Washington. But history also shows that trade disputes can strain even the strongest alliances. Now, with Trump openly threatening tariffs, Starmer has little choice but to tread carefully. His statement signals an attempt to keep negotiations open without provoking a backlash. Because in Trump's world, any sign of resistance, especially from an ally, could just as easily turn into the next trade war. So what does this all mean? A new UK-US trade deal, a fractured NATO alliance, or just another awkward diplomatic dance? One thing is certain, this meeting was just the beginning.
Terrific, really terrific for both countries. Good, thank you.
On the second part of the question, I think my views on Putin are pretty well rehearsed and pretty well known. My concern is that if there's a deal, and I hope there is a deal, that it must be a lasting deal, that it's not a temporary measure. And that is why I think it's really important that Putin knows that this deal, a historic deal, which I very much hope comes about, is there, and it's a lasting deal, and that we're able to deal with any inclination he has to go again or go further.
I think we'll have two deals. I think we'll have a deal on ending the war, and I think we're going to end up with a great trade deal with you. And it's an honor to be with you, and I want to thank everybody very much. Thank you very much.